All right, welcome to Teaching Crypto. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, bell notification. Super chats in the store are open. I'm glad you're with us on this Sunday here because we were excited. Bitcoin dominance is going down, and if you don't know, that means alt season has started. Better late than never, as the alts are finally starting to show some push. We've got Bitcoin here at 118. I still maintain, Mr. FOMO, and, not all the shows will tell you this. Some of them will give you some crazy numbers. I think realistically here, if you are just holding Bitcoin and not any alts, your realistic outlook here is 150 to 180 if you would like to take profits this cycle. If you want to wait till we hit 400K in about 4 years, that's a little different. I do not believe the cycles have been broken. Some people do, not I. How do you feel as Bitcoin climbs back over 118K this morning?
I feel great. We talked about this last week about how Bitcoin was going to bounce up that 112, 113 area, and it did. And we're back up to 118, looking to make a charge into the 120s. And even as Bitcoin is charging towards 120, Bitcoin dominance is falling. And that is a traditional hallmark of the altcoin season. As you can see up there, 59.6 percent dominance, and then 12.2% dominance for ETH. So those are good numbers. Those are what you'd like to see at the beginning of altcoin season. And so my assumption is that that's where we are. We are finally at the beginning of altcoin season. But like you said before, this is going to be a shortened or truncated altcoin season. You might not be able to wait until 2026 to take profits. That might be too late.
Absolutely not. I think you got to be starting today. You need to have your phone on you. You know, let's pretend, for example, you are holding XRP and it makes a run to $5 by Friday. You want to strongly consider taking profits. Let's say ETH makes a run to 5K in the next 7 days. You want to strongly consider taking profits. I'm going to talk about Dogecoin in a little bit, but you might have to take profits twice if in the same day. And it might be a situation where your alt runs at 7 o'clock in the morning. And if you're asleep, you might miss a lot of profits. I mean, it's that you want to keep it dialed
Realistically,
forward,
I mean, the crypto market is 24 hours a day. So realistically, that could happen at any point during the day, right? The crypto market doesn't sleep at all. And so
yeah, my
you've got to
point
set
is you
alerts.
have to be vigilant between now and the end of October. So we're
Right.
seeing these charts here, and this doesn't mean it's going to happen, but as Bitcoin dominance falls, it makes it more and more likely more money will pour into the alts. We've talked about this before of over millions and millions of registered alts. Some of them will not do well. However, I'm still confident in some of the classics. So if you look at this chart, Mr. FOMO, this is calling for, before the end of the year, an $11 XRP. Now, I'm not sure we're going to get there, but XRP did finally
Hmm.
settle its case with the SEC. And right now, XRP, I think it is a very good situation here. So if you're looking for some safe bets without Bitcoin, let's keep it real. Bitcoin will not 2x between now and the end of October. So that means if we are right, and it is our short alt season here, alts will be the ones that make the major moves. I do think XRP, Mr. FOMO, can get to $6 by October. Now, we do have a big market cap of 189.4 billion, but XRP does have a lot of momentum. The two times we've had the alts move during the cycle, which have been very short, right? A year ago, and then right after before the election, you saw XRP move. Let us not forget that XRP was below 50 cents during the bear. We've now climbed over $3. I think we got one move left to the $6 range here. That's a little under a 2x. I like to take this prediction and knock it down. The 11 would be amazing, but for me, I'm an XRP holder, to be frank, and I'm looking to take profits around $5 to $6, and that could come at any moment. That could come this Tuesday, this Wednesday. More likely it's going to take a few weeks, but you get my drift here. How do you feel about XRP?
I feel like now with the reins pulled off, that with that lawsuit finally done, this is, I mean, it's wide open. It's got room to run. And if you talk to people on the streets, if you run into people that know anything at all about crypto, XRP is one of the things that they talk about. My brother-in-law isn't big into crypto at all. He only owns one crypto, and that is XRP, because his barber told him to buy it. And so I believe this one definitely will have some room to run this altcoin season. But like you said, it's when will it run and for how long will it run? Those are the questions of the altcoin season. I don't think your profit taking is going to be as exciting as it has been before. I think, if you get a 3x, take it, but I think you're going to be happy with percentages in some.
Well, if this gets to 5 from 3, that's a nice, especially in the truncated time period we have. That's a nice
Market.
profit.
I'm talking about the broader market, because
Yes.
it's not 3,000 cryptos on the market anymore. It's 19.27 million cryptos on the market now. So, when you're looking at this market, and I'm just strictly talking about profit taking, I'm not talking about XRP anymore. When you're looking at your portfolio and you're looking at this market, there may be times where you go a week without seeing any of your alts run, or a week between your alts running, and you have to be prepared that whole time to just sit on your phone or sit on your wallet and make sure that it's not running. But profit taking isn't also going to look like just wiping out your whole bag, or it doesn't have to. We've talked about this before. You could take out just your initial investment and play with house money, or you could leave yourself a moon bag in there.
But I would wipe out by November. By Thanksgiving, you don't want to be in these alts.
Right.
I'm telling
But
you.
you could also DCA out the same way that you DCA'd in,
True.
taking profits a little bit here, a little bit there, depending on what the altcoin season does. But you're right. This one is so short that it's probably best to, when it runs, it's probably best to wipe it out.
How do you feel about jumping from token to token? So let's say XRP gets to $5 by this Friday. Would you feel comfortable? And let's say I'm going to pull up another classic here that normally runs well by the end of the cycle. Doge has not run. Would you feel comfortable taking those profits and jumping into Doge?
I'm going to take profits and jump from coin to coin. That's one of the things that I plan on doing, because, like I said, I don't think they're all going to run at the same time.
It's impossible, and they're going to run the same day. That's never happened before. So yes,
Right.
but
And
can they
so
run
what I'm
within the
going to do
same
is I'm
2
going
months?
to take profits, and then I'm going to move it into something that I believe in that hasn't run yet. And then we're going to go from there. And that'll keep happening until we get to October.
Here's the one kicker. September is not all right before the end of the bull run is not always great for Bitcoin. So you might see yet another small period of retrace before our final move in October. Bitcoin normally plateaus in October. Most alts, will plateau sometime in October or possibly early November. If you're still holding during Thanksgiving, you've gone too far. There might
And
be some false pumps in
certainly don't go
December,
to
but
Thanksgiving dinner. Certainly don't go to Thanksgiving dinner and start talking crypto with anybody, because by that point you're just getting them into crypto when it's too late.
well, 2026, I think, will be an amazing time. Not early 26, but mid to late 26 to buy Bitcoin. I still do believe we have another bear market. I know a lot of people are saying the cycle has been broken for Bitcoin. I don't think so.
I
There's
don't think so either.
because you don't know what the political climate 2026 politically is a huge wild card. I mean, so many things can happen, right? You're talking about and I'm not trying to get political, president that really could do anything in the next 12 months. Anything could happen in the world. You got storms, you got wars, there's all kinds of things. And, By the way, the US debt just hit another all-time high yesterday, which is good for the next 3 months and long term for Bitcoin, but that also means financially, economically, you could see a lot of unrest next year. So I do believe there will be a bear market coming up. Will it look different than the other bear markets? Probably. Yeah. I don't think Bitcoin will go down nearly as much. So let's play this out really quickly, Mr. FOMO. By the way, what do you think before we leave this topic? Um, I do like Doge to get over $1. Do you think I'm being realistic or unrealistic? Because right now we are at a little under 24 cents. So that does give us a nice 23 cents, got to 24 yesterday. So that would be a fairly nice move. Maybe not over $1, but I think it'll make a move into the 80-90 cent mark. Do you think I'm being realistic given we have 3 months left here?
I think you're being unrealistic.
Okay.
Doge used to have a huge community behind it, and it used to be pumped by Elon Musk every once in a while. But that hasn't happened in a long time, and the community doesn't seem to be as strong behind it as it was before. Now, do I think you can get a 2 to 3x out of Doge? Certainly. But do I think it's going to get over $1? I don't think so. I think you have to temper your expectations for a lot of these altcoins, and you can't compare it to the other bull runs in what your expectations are, because we just have way too many alts on the market now. I mean,
Well, it did
the
get to 48 cents earlier this year. That's why my optimism, it can get back there and then run. And Elon did post earlier this year that he still supports Doge. So I think he has another couple posts in him about Doge because that he doesn't give up on things easily. Yes,
I
he has
think you'll see him post about it right after it starts pumping, and then it'll pump a little bit more, and then that'll be it.
Yeah, I'm not expecting gigantic burst or anything, but I think a 2 to 3x there is really, really possible. A lot listen, here's the thing. There's not a lot of time. There are a lot of tokens. I even saw someone call for a $7 Cardano today, which is sitting at 79 cents. I don't expect that, but I do
That
expect
would be
these.
amazing.
I really would be shocked if these things didn't do anything between now and October. We got our 150 Bitcoin and then everything died. I don't think that's how it's going to play out. But I like your idea of really being realistic about things, because if you're not realistic, things are going to go badly for you. You don't want to hold on to these things and have nothing to show for it in the year 2026. Not only nothing to show, but you're losing. Now you're seeing these things deteriorate. I mean, you're seeing Doge go all the way back down below 9 cents. Here you were, it got to 70 cents. You had a chance, let's pretend you had a chance to take profits. And now you see it go all the way back down to 9 cents in the bear. Now you're either selling for a loss or you're holding on for another 4 years, waiting for it to go back. And who knows what the
With your
altcoin market
fingers
goes.
crossed too, because who knows, like you're saying, who knows what's going to happen with that in the next 4 years.
Yeah, I think this is pivotal because if let's say worst case scenario, these things barely move and we top out with Bitcoin in October around 150 to 160 and barely any of these move, and then we do have a bear, who is going to buy these in the next bear market? Right? Because it's not worth it. It's no longer, the reward was you held for 2 or 3 years and you have massive returns. Your money was locked into something that was just doing nothing. And in fact, not just doing nothing, going down. You were DCAing into a something that would go down 90 to 90. Some of these go down 95 to 98% during the bear. And the reward
And then
was
they're
you
going to
watch it go all the
disappear.
way back up. But if it doesn't come up, if it barely comes up, your money's just sitting there for 3 years. That's wasted opportunity.
Yeah, the last thing that you want to do in this bull run, if we have an alt season, the last thing you want to do is round trip your bags like that. To park them into something, watch it go all the way up, and then come all the way back down would be a travesty for you and your portfolio. So what we're asking you
You and
to
your
do,
life. Forget about your
please,
portfolio.
please, please take profits. When you see these things, if you get a 2 to 3x out of these things, take profits. Take profits. And if you think that it's got more room
Forget
to
about a
run,
2 to 3x, like you said, 50, 60, 70, 80% consider taking profits.
yeah, and if you see these things run and you think it's got more legs in it, take a little bit off the table. Take the initial investment that you put in and play with house money, or leave yourself a small moon bag that you can sit on and wait for it to go up. But certainly don't leave those profits in there. Make sure you take those off the table, because that's how you pay yourself for all this time and effort that you've put in to this, I mean, to the crypto market.
All right, people ask me, we're only at 118 that well, we actually made a little bit of a run on the air. 118, 478K Bitcoin. Why do you think we're really going to get to the 150, 180 mark? And here's what I'm going to say. Look at this. All-time high. That's a scary number, by the way. We're headed towards 100 trillion in the not so distant future. This plus rate cuts, plus the money supply is going up in the US and globally. Math wise, Bitcoin has to go up long term. I mean, it just does. That because you're talking about something that's sat versus something that's expanding and expanding and expanding. I mean, Mr. FOMO, to me, this is just like I would be shocked if in the next cycle we didn't go to Bitcoin between 3 to 400K. In the next cycle, even if the cycles are broken, basically what I'm saying is in the next 8 years, you're likely to see $1 million Bitcoin. In the next 16 years, they're likely to see a $10 million Bitcoin because things are not changing, right? No one's reining in the national debt. I mean, you talked about Elon, supposedly he was going to try to do that. And I think he realized the monster he was facing. And I don't think we need to get into all that. He realized the president's not the only one running the show here. There are other cowboys behind the scene. And guess what? They're not in the mood of cutting back on spending on military operations that the average American either doesn't want to know about or has no idea about. That's the reality. I don't want to go too deep, but it's the Epstein thing. You've seen they've purged so many of the documents. By the time they release this, it's going to look like one of your spreadsheets from the 90s that you tore apart. I mean, it's just a complete joke. But what is your reaction when you see this number here that hit last night?
I mean, when the average American sees this number, I don't think they realize how concerning it should be. Like, and I don't understand why they don't realize, because this is in 30 years we've accrued this debt. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of people act like this debt has been accumulating over the life of the American Republic, and that's just not true. In the 90s, there was a balanced budget. So why is it that we've accrued trillions of dollars, and if I mean tens of trillions of dollars in debt in the last 30 years? And you're right, it's because of irresponsible spending at the national level. And you're right, money printing is the way that
It's
they're
spending, but
solving.
you're not here. The sad part is you're not actually spending within the country. This is spending for stuff that the average American will never see a benefit for. Never. In fact, it's harming their lives. And we know people that didn't own their homes, that have older people that have moved in with their children or vice versa, because in our area we live, they can't afford rent.
Yeah.
They didn't buy Bitcoin earlier or property. If you don't own Bitcoin, property, or gold, you're not in good shape moving forward unless you're
No.
making a crazy salary.
And even then, that salary is being depleted because your spending power is dying every time they print more money. And
Yeah.
that's just the long and the short of it. The more they print money to cover themselves, the more it takes away from the spending power of your dollars. And you should be shocked and appalled by that.
More reason to look into Bitcoin. If you're watching the show and you don't have any Bitcoin, really delve in, Mr. FOMO, maybe we'll link your show, What is Bitcoin? Because the math of Bitcoin is what makes it so important and scarce. And I do believe over the next 4 to 8 years, listen, at some point, I think Bitcoin will become legal tender in the US. I don't think it'll be this administration, but I think someone will do it. And that's when you see things really, really take off. Um, because this is crazy. It really is how expensive things have gotten. $100 now is like the old $10 bill. Now I'm being serious. People take out 100 and spend it like they used to a $10 bill. Remember,
Yeah,
you used to have $100 bill in your hands when we were little kids, and it was like, oh my God, I feel like a millionaire
I
here.
can buy the
Now,
world.
now you might go to I mean, that's like what, a video game and a half now?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. If
You can't
if
even
we're
buy
talking
2
about the
video
video
games
games my
anymore.
son plays, you're talking about a video game and a half. I mean, if you're talking about a dinner for the family, you can't you can you'd be hard pressed to find restaurants where you could really go and eat and have drinks and stay under $100.
Crazy. Uh, Look, good news. I think we're moving. Be ready to take profits. If you don't have any alt exposure, I think you're kind of running out of time. I'm not telling you to buy. You got to do your own research. But if you're thinking of waiting to buy alts, ooh, I don't know about that. Okay. All right, guys, keep it here for the very latest. Bull run, altcoin season is here. Things are getting hot and heavy. Please share the show. Please like the show. If you haven't done so, what are you waiting for? Subscribe for Mr. FOMO's AZ Crypto. Have a wonderful weekend, everybody.
See ya.